Pussy.
So, why the internet is obsessed with Yanderes? Yandere is basically anime girl that is really, really possessive. I will give you, and usually violent and dangerous. And basically, like she fall in love with a dude, and basically she becomes like most likely the murderer of a passion plant. If you know school days, you know, like basically this is the dark side of the yandere. Uh, like, but like, yeah, basically school days or uh, what's yandere? Like, like Misa from from Death Note, absolutely obsessed with with L. And then there is like what's it called Yuno Gasai from from the anime Future Diary. So yeah. Now you get to why is the internet obsessed with Yanderes? Uh let's take this out.
Possessive, cruel, obsessed, lewd, bloodthirsty, mentally unstable, domineering, stalkerish, murderous. These are all terms that are used to describe one of the most controversial tropes in fiction. A trope that for the last decade became insanely popular on the internet, gathering equal amounts of concern and adoration. I'm of course talking about the yandere. My name is Juno, your local muff, and welcome to my channel where we talk about the internet, art, and how they make us feel. And today, in this episode of my Internet Phenomena series, we will be talking about the crazy, the bloody, and the surprisingly human sides of the yandere craze. I'll do my best to explain to you why yanderes are so appealing, where the trope even comes from, and show you that anyone can fall into its trap. Thank you so much to my Patreons who
My ex was actually a yandere. Like she was scaring me the fuck out. She was like a nice person and stuff. My ex actually, I just noticed like she was a fucking yandere. Like, and you know what? Like, yeah, like, like,
support makes this channel possible. Fungus Finder, LJBR, Zachary Hagen,
I used to joke about my ex. Like, yeah, actually, like, I just noticed that, like, I'm not fucking. That's why I was scared of her. God fucking damn
Shira
it.
the Artistic Dragon, Arthur Tchaikovsky,
It all makes sense now.
Binner Binate, Look, Liz Lizard, The Julo, Takandel, and Hammer the Knot. Now, relax, subscribe if you want to, and before we talk about non-con fantasies, a certain game dev, and almost 1,000 years of literature, let's first establish what on earth is a yandere. Yandere is a combination of yanderu, meaning ill, and deredere, a mimetic word for being love-struck and overly affectionate. The combination of these two terms signifies the two sides of the yandere. The yandere behaves differently towards their love interest and their surroundings. On one side, they are lovely and innocent, incredibly doting and protective. However, when something sets them off, if they are given a reason to be jealous, they snap or switch, becoming downright dangerous and violent. A yandere is one of the dere types, which describes how a character acts once they become attracted to someone. These tropes originate from anime and manga. However, unlike its contemporaries such as the tsundere or shindere, at this point, the yandere has escaped the confines of Japan.
Let me just check one thing.
Japanese media, becoming an internet phenomena. From blogs to the multiple dating sims, 18+ visual novels, and roleplay ASMRs, the Yanderes since the 2010s has grown into a hugely popular concept that has quite a grip on various communities. But why? What about a crazy, dangerous love interest is appealing to so many people? But before we answer that, we need to learn how the Yandere breached containment, going from a niche writing motif to one of the most beloved character tropes. How did we get here? Did something happen in the 2010s that popularized Yanderes? Well, yes. And no, because actually Yanderes are not a new fad. They have been around in fiction for a millennium. During the Heian period in Japan, somewhere between the year 1002 and 1021, the poet and lady-in-waiting Murasaki Shikibu wrote Genji Monogatari, the world's first novel. The Tale of Genji is an incredibly influential and important work of classical literature, and it's also the first time a Yandere character makes an appearance. Lady Rokjo is an influential figure in the story's royal court. She already fulfilled her duty as a noble lady by becoming the crown prince consort and bearing his child. When she meets the main character of Genji Monogatari, Hikaru, she's infatuated with his youthful charm and quickly falls in love with him. However, Genji doesn't reciprocate her feelings, and with time, he grows distant. This slowly drives Rokjo insane, and when she finds out that another one of Hikaru's lovers is pregnant with his child, Rokjo gets so jealous that her spirit leaves her body, possesses the pregnant lover, and murders her. After realizing what she has done, Rokjo falls ill from the guilt and shame and dies. Lady Rokjo fulfills all the checkpoints to officially be deemed a Yandere, which means that yes, the Yandere has been around since the beginnings of literature. But in order for the trope to become as popular as it is nowadays, it needed something more than an ancient piece of poetic writing. It needed a sexy twist and some much needed innovation. And that innovation came in the shape of Yukako Yamagishi from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Debuting in chapter 294 in 1992, Yukako is an incredibly beautiful 15-year-old girl obsessed with her classmate Koichi. While standoffish to all other people, towards Koichi she is sweet and intensely affectionate, which makes him scared. Because of his fear, Koichi rejects her advances and she...
ちょっと待って、まだその、なんていうか、やっぱり嫌いなんですね。違いますよ。ですから、いきなりそんなこと聞かれても。どっちなの？私のこと愛してるの？愛してないの？さっさと答えてよ。
Now, Yukako wasn't the perfect Yandere, which is proven by the fact that she doesn't get much love from the Yandere fans. Not only was she rehabilitated by Koichi in the end and experienced character growth, she also was written in a way that poked fun at how she was. Yukako's obsession was framed as a flaw, not a romantic quality. But her creation still inspired a bunch of other authors to whom Yukako's violent outbursts and kidnapping of Koichi was something more than just a weird quirk of a side character. It was lightning in a bottle. The otaku multiverse has never been the same since then. With the ground laid, what truly shaped the image of what a yandere looks like were the next two characters, Kotonoha Katsura from School Days and Yuno from Future Diary.
Here you go. Here you go.
The two
What did I mention like just before?
sides of the same yandere coin, the sad yandere and the quirky yandere. Both of these characters led to the peak of the trope's popularity in Japan around 2006. And that could have been it. The yandere could have stayed as a slowly dying anime trope. But no, we're still here, midway through the 2020s, and the yandere isn't going anywhere. So you might be wondering, what happened in the 2010s that arguably made yanderes a mainstream thing? We cannot have a video about yanderes without mentioning the biggest factor in their rise to popularity. A certain game that's been drowning in controversy for over a decade now. Yandere Simulator. Yandere Simulator is a sandbox dating sim where you play as Yandere-chan, a high school girl that becomes obsessed with her senpai. In the game, you must go around and eliminate 10 different rivals while maintaining your innocent facade and gaining reputation in order to ensure that senpai will be yours. Sounds like a fun and interesting game, right? Well, there is one small tiny issue. The game doesn't exist. Well, sure. You can download and play Yandere Simulator right now. Most of the features I just mentioned aren't playable. It's been a decade since the demo came out, and the game is still not ready. Everything I've learned about Yandere Simulator has been against my will, and not about the game. Before researching for this video, I didn't know much about it at all. I knew it existed, I didn't know what it was about. But I sure did know quite a lot about the dev behind the game. And because of that, Yandere Simulator holds a very interesting spot in internet communities. It's infamous and mocked relentlessly, while at the same time still having a big fan base that enjoys the game. Despite all of the controversy, Yandere Sim contribution to the rise of the trope's popularity cannot be understated. Possibly, without the controversy, Yandere Simulator would not have left such a huge mark on the internet, and I wouldn't be here making this video. This is the time we all say, thank you, Yandere dev. With Yandere Simulator, suddenly the floodgates were open, and a before niche community that mostly existed on the Japanese internet spilled over, and Yandere RP blogs, OCs, visual novels, 18+ games, and art started popping up left and right. But why? There is definitely an aesthetic appeal to the yandere. Many love interests in fiction are painfully bland, perfectly marketable without a fault or a flaw. They are engineered to be perfect in order to be as appealing to as wide of an audience as possible. And then in comes the yandere, sweaty and disheveled, covered in blood, with hearts in their eyes, or completely blank stare. In contrast with all of the other options, they are intriguing, troubled, mysterious, dangerous, and exciting. Sexy. The vast majority of content about the yandere trope is somewhat sexual, and at this point, the yandere is an eroticized figure, or more accurately, the trope's characteristics are sexualized. Violent and irrational, but also domineering and affectionate. Unstable and dangerous, but also horny and possessive. And of course, if you don't give your yandere partner a reason to be jealous, they will not harm you in any way. They will just be doting and incredibly caring. The majority of yandere content assumes you very much want to make the yandere jealous. In a 2009 study conducted by Jenny Bivona and Joseph Critelli, 62% of women reported having non-con fantasies. Non-con fantasies are common amongst men as well, with different studies showing the number to be anywhere between 40 to 55%. I would say that regardless of gender identity, huge chunks of the population have non-con sexual fantasies if the popularity of certain tags on certain websites is anything to go by.
I really like the fact that she's drawing as like the thing that like you watch while she talks about like the stuff, and I'm really curious to see how it will look like. I really like what she's how she explains stuff. Like, really found something. Really found an interesting channel. Really found an interesting girl that talks about Viking stuff.
Psychologists hypothesize that non-con fantasies are a way to alleviate feelings of shame, or to simply help people explore some more of their socially unacceptable kinks. And I believe that this alone explains quite a lot about why Yanderes are so popular and eroticized. Here you have a character that doesn't understand the word no, a perfect canvas to explore all kinds of depravity on. A yandere character creates a scenario where you are helpless to their whims, and so blameless. There is no guilt to be found. You can just enjoy yourself fully without having to deal with shame, while getting to experience the adrenaline rush that comes with fear. And you get to do so safely through fiction. Because contrary to some opinions I found, to the majority of yandere fans, this is merely
Yeah, so I said that like my ex was a yandere. Yeah, you like to watch yanderes, okay? I had like a couple exes that were like kind of like kind of like you know what? Like I prefer the term yandere rather than abusive. Okay, I loved them to death. Okay, so this was like we were young, like overly stimulating and weird people in general. Like, but like I can tell you, like she may be as beautiful as the fucking sun. She was scary as a fucking dragon. Like she was like, and it's like you do not like you watching Yanderes and it's fine. Being with one, you're not ready, bro. You're not ready. You're not ready. You're not ready. Like you think you're a man, and but like you're like you care, and that like things are in control, and then you fucking date a yandere in real life, and then you understand that you're just a little boy, that life is scary, and that your girl, she does as she wishes, and you do as she wishes. It's a thrill. It's really thrilling. It's really like because it's made out of love. At least what I experienced, it's made out of love, but like there is abuse in it, but like basically like anime abuse, where it's like you're young and it's like, but it's just you are scared all the time. Like basically, all my I just wanted to say, it, you do not want like dating a yandere is not for uh for a weak for a weak spirit, for someone that does not have enough will. So like I'm telling you.
a fantasy. Most people enjoying yandere enjoy them only in fictional settings and understand that in real life,
And they should.
a person with such tendencies would be a nightmare to deal with. I believe that branding fans of this trope as sick in the head perverts that probably lust over real life serial killers is not only mean spirited, but also has little to no merit at all. Following such logic, every World of Tanks player loves war and wants to be drafted into the army, and all Hell's Kitchen watchers want to be yelled at by Gordon Ramsay. However, there are definitely valid criticisms that should be discussed, and we will do just that later in this video. Ultimately, fiction is there to let us experience and explore things we wouldn't want to happen to us in real life, or things we couldn't do because of how morally corrupt that would be. Why would someone want to be a yandere? Because that's the other side of the coin, isn't it? Just how there are people attracted to yandere characters, there are people who want to be the yandere character. Now that's even more taboo. While wanting to be the love interest of a yandere is concerning, wanting to be a yandere is alarming to some. And that's absolutely understandable, but I would still like to explore why some internet users, especially female internet users, would relate to such a label. For one, I believe that people might identify with yandere characters because it offers them an option to safely, through fiction or roleplay, explore their own darker traits or desires. I think it all comes down to the same reason why female rage has such a grip on women. I believe that many women feel more represented and connected to characters that express and experience similar things like they do than the sanitized cookie cutter female love interests. I think that when people relate to a yandere, they do so because they enjoy the fantasy of letting go, of snapping, of devolving into a version of themselves that is absolutely insane. Indulging in fiction where irrationality and doing horrific things out of emotion is explored.
Wait. Oh no! Oh my fucking god! Let me. Oh my. Wait. Let me just. Let me just. I'm already so lost with like. Mm, Let me just check one thing. Yeah, it's fine. Little lost my.
Has attracted audiences for centuries now. In the 1800s, a wave in art called Romanticism was taking over Europe. All over the continent, multiple writers wove narratives about love so intense it could kill. They would weave entire storylines based around what passion can drive people to do and how we should choose emotion over reason. We frequently are presented with this idea that love is a form of ultimate goodness, that nothing is as pure as love. And that is not true. People do messed up things out of love every day. And in that way, yanderes are intriguing because they challenge that notion. They let the audience see the awful things that can happen as a result of love and let writers explore darker themes in their work. When it comes to anime and anime tropes, many of them at a certain point become so repetitive and uninspired that they start to feel almost fatiguing. Yanderes bring a lot of excitement and a sense of danger into the stories they're in. They bring drama and tension and an air of sexiness. When it comes to storytelling, a yandere is a playfield for a character breakdown. Since most of the yandere characters start out as completely normal and sweet, the writers get a chance to showcase what it would take for a person to completely break down. Jealousy and intense heartbreak, a feeling of betrayal by the person that is important to you, or maybe just fear of losing that beloved person. Sometimes, though, it's just trauma. And here we run into my and other people's biggest gripe with the yandere trope: the mishandling of topics pertaining to mental illness. There is a big difference between characters such as Kotonoha who don't start out as yanderes but are driven to reveal their yan side. Katsura starts out as polite, gentle, and intelligent, but then slowly, over time, due to her love interest Makoto, who toys with her mentally, cheats on her, and disrespects her, she slowly breaks down until she snaps. On the other side, there are characters such as Yuno Gasai, who became incredibly popular and even to this day is considered the face of the yandere archetype, whose obsessive and violent behavior is justified by the writers by introducing her very traumatic backstory and mental illnesses. Sometimes it feels as if writers believe that giving their characters trauma and mental illness is an automatic way to make them cool or interesting, which isn't always the case and can lead to a lot of uncomfortable and weird characterizations of yanderes. We also cannot forget that some of these narratives dehumanize and stigmatize mental illness, which should be a cause for criticism and alarm, since people with mental health issues are more likely to be victims of violent crimes than perpetrators. That's why ultimately the ending of Yuri's Route, who is the only yandere character I like in Doki Doki Literature Club, feels like an apt ending to
Yeah, there is also Doki Doki Literature
a
Club.
yandere character. Instead of swinging at the MC or Monica, she takes her own life. Although some people don't think that Yuri is a yandere, but rather a menhera. I read somewhere that the main difference between a menhera character, not a person that partakes in the subculture, the trope, and a yandere is selfishness. However, I disagree. I don't think it's the selfishness that makes the difference, but the devotion. Both the menhera and the yandere
So, I don't think it's selfishness as well. I think it's selflessness. Being selfless, no, that's like abandoning everything for someone, abandoning yourself for someone. Yeah, I think it's selfishness, selfless.
are selfish. They hurt their partner and the people around them and justify it. The difference, in my opinion, lies in the fact that a menhera character doesn't care about the love interest, they just want a character they could use to feel good. On the other hand, the yandere is solely focused on the love interest. A yandere is devoted to you, and only you. And that's why I think they are so popular. Of course, all of the other reasons I listed before still contribute, but this is the ultimate reason why
So I think that like
yandere is devoted
she did
to
what
you.
you quiz Snow Surreal. So you are Snow Surreal. Oh, I love eating rice, and it's so. So let's listen about. So she's not a yandere. You're an eccentric person, whoever. Strange behavior, kind of like we went from like she's drawing to she's doing like a fucking personality test, and I'm fascinated. Like she really knows how to fucking entertain the fucking, the fucking like TikTok meme with the fucking COD, like Call of Duty playing in the background while the dude talks. Like she does the same but the girl version, and it works as well. Like,
And only you. And that's why I think they are so popular. Of course, all of the other reasons I listed before still contribute, but this is the ultimate reason why so many people are obsessed with yanderes. They are drawn to the fantasy of an utterly devoted lover. This idea of having a partner that quite literally would do anything for you is appealing, and so is the reverse. Going above and beyond for the one you love, doing anything and everything to keep them close to you, wanting to follow your emotion even to the extreme, is only human. Yanderes are an evolution of the previously mentioned romantic irrationality, but now with a sexy twist. They are physically attractive, assertive, dominant, exciting, strong-willed, and focused solely on their lover. Of course, so many people flock to that trope. I believe that to many men especially, the appeal of the yandere lies in the fantasy of being pursued. Across many cultures, it is a tradition that the men pursue the women. Not only that, they are meant to be suave and cool about it, and so many other things. However, those gender ideals and rigid rules about how courting is meant to happen are not only outdated, but also actively make it hard for people to connect. It's not surprising to me that many men find the appeal in a beautiful woman that is actively pursuing them romantically and sexually, perhaps taking the more quote unquote masculine role. Men, like all people, want to feel desired and precious to someone, and the yandere trope fulfills that need. A yandere is the perfect partner for a person that is two things: one, lonely, and two, scared of abandonment. A yandere will never leave your side. They will never cheat or change their mind about you. You are their priority, their precious person that they are willing to do anything for. They will drown you in affection and love. They will do anything and everything in their power to ensure you are content and well, and all you need to do in return is be loyal. Yanderes are an awkward problem to solve. On one side, they are terrifying, and their existence, even in fiction, can cause problems. But at their core, they are the image of pure, unfiltered, uncontrollable love. And who doesn't want to be loved? Thank you so much for watching this video to the end. Uncontrollable love. Complex topic and probably
Okay, so yeah, Juno Moth. I actually really like what she did. I actually really find her interesting. I will check out actually what else she does. Uh, this was actually like really great.